friends, and welcome to our podcast dedicated to sight reading through the lens of the historically informed performance practice. Today we have a Christmas episode. My name is Darina Blogina.
And I'm Sebastian Mitra. And who do we have here?
I'm Christopher Wattam. It's lovely to be here.
Hello, Christopher Wattam. Thank you for
having
here.
me on the show.
Christopher is a tenor with whom we work a lot.
It's true. And this is my second appearance on your show, I believe.
Yes, we did our Paradise Lost.
In this festive time, we have Paradise Regained.
I had a concert with these beautiful songs from the French Baroque times, and I thought it would be lovely to record with Chris, with his beautiful voice. So, yeah.
And these happen to be some of my favorite songs of all time.
Why is that so?
Because they're just so nice.
They're
nice. Just so satisfying to
melodies. listen
to. And I listened to them when I was a teenager all the time.
Oh, really?
Yes, because in French Canada we like listened to this a lot, and then also when I discovered hip playing, there's like the Noël sur les instruments by Charpentier. There's also his Messe of Noël that uses the same songs, but with the texts are different. So Kyrie and Christe and all these things, but as the chorale, the carols.
Do you know some background story behind that? How Charpentier composed it and why he used those melodies and how he set up the text. That was the Latin text. Kyrie.
I know a little bit of it. I know that in France, actually in the 17th century and even late in the 18th century, you have many different versions of these songs. So keyboard versions with variations for the organist to play in Christmas or masses. So they loved these songs. These were just like common repertoire. Everyone knew them for like 200 years.
But was it performed specifically for the Christmas time or
yes.
just... okay.
Because it's always Noël. So they're always published under the collection of Noël, which means Christmas. Yeah. So Messe de Noël is where you find all of these songs by Charpentier.
With the contrafacta, with the text contrafacta.
Exactly.
From the Latin Mass.
Yeah. And today we're going to do something kind of interesting, which is we're going to take different versions of it, like the d'Aquin. No, d'Andrieux.
Yes.
D'Andrieux. D'Aquin also has a Noël sur
Which
l'instrument.
is the 17th century?
18th century.
Collection?
18th century.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With some, but it's written in a way that it's a very like old school writing, I would say, with these diminutions. It sounds almost Renaissance.
Almost, but with a few differences. Also, Nicolas Lebègue, who was an organist in the 17th century, also has a collection for organ. And so there's like this whole tradition. So I think it's actually just, it sounds old because it's from a tradition, I think.
Okay, so what are we doing today?
Chris will sing.
Yeah, but you mentioned this combination.
Yes, so we're doing a combination. I will play some of the keyboard parts, and Chris will actually sing the song above it, which is kind of nice. So I'll be like, you'll be doing diminutions. I'll be doing some diminutions from the keyboard, and then Chris will sing on top. And we'll also do we'll do the Kyrie from the Charpentier Mass.
Yes, and I also wanted to ask you about the songs, the original songs.
Yes.
When did they appear, and what is the text about? Yeah.
I don't know when they appeared. I'm assuming probably the 16th century, but I really don't know. Maybe we can find out. Well, but anyways, all the texts are Christmas related.
Folk?
Maybe they started as folk songs. Yeah, I think it's just a 16th century tune. Maître de chapelle de Henri IV. Noël de campagne. So I think that means Christmas from the countryside. So I guess they were folk songs that then became into the general public and then performed, I guess, to the king, because Charpentier worked in the Chapelle Royale. So the royal chapel in Versailles.
But he worked for Duke, not for the king.
He worked for
right?
He never worked for the king?
I don't think so. And there was like this kind of war between the two courts of the king and the duke.
Right.
And maybe I'm bullshitting. I don't know.
But I know that Charpentier and de Lalande had arguments. But I thought that he worked.
But also Louis at the time, he didn't let anybody to work at the court because he was a monopolist, and
That's
it was
true.
the Cold War of the time.
He wouldn't let anyone else pass go
That's true.
or collect
But
$200.
his death, do you know how Louis died?
Yes.
Stab himself in the foot.
Actually, the full story of, you know, the Te Deum that he wrote, Lully?
Yes.
Do you know why he wrote the Te Deum?
No.
So the King Louis XIV, this is a bit of a digression, but Louis XIV, I like it because it's butt related, and I think butts are funny. Louis XIV had a fistule, which is, I guess, like an ulcer in the colon, in the rectum. And he... Well, it's historical.
Please continue.
It's but it's funny because so the reason the Te Deum was written is because the king had an operation on his butthole that was successful. He didn't die. He actually recovered, and then
To celebrate.
to celebrate the recovery from the fistule du roi, Lully wrote this Te Deum
But then
and
he
then stabbed
died.
himself in the
Yes.
foot conducting.
There is a similar story about Scriabin and Tanev. He went to his funeral. Scriabin?
Oh.
No, Tanev, his teacher. He went to his funeral, and then he got sick because it was raining and very cold, and then he died from cold.
But there's no buts in that
Cool.
story, so...
Who knows? I
Anyways.
don't know.
No, you're right. He did work for the Duc d'Orléans, but he was music master at the Sainte-Chapelle of Paris.
Yeah, but I imagine that was not like the most successful
No.
place for him, or yeah, maybe he wanted something more.
Anyways, let's discuss. Let's hear some music.
So, yeah, but maybe we can also read the text and.
Okay.
Yes.
Chris, do you want to tell us something, Chris, about your experience with this music?
So I was reading off of a phone half the time. So that was a fun experience. So I'm not actually sure I said even the correct text.
I listened to it. It sounds.
It sounds
It
approximately correct. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
good.
I applaud you because you were reading the verses and actually setting them to music.
I mean, that one's not too hard in terms of the music.
No, that's true. The Kyrie.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Kyrie was
more
weird.
tricky.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
we can
fast.
find the text of the original song for the Kyrie, and because we didn't do the original.
This is
song.
Joseph est bien marié. So the Kyrie that we just heard is the folk song Joseph est bien marié, which means Joseph is like married, like well married, basically. Like he is married. Joseph est bien marié à la fille de Jésus. That I don't know, Jésus, but that doesn't make sense. Wait, I don't like this text.
Like when Sebastian is reading in French.
Des choses bien nouvelles d'être mère et puis celle Dieu y avait opéré. Joseph est bien marié. Anyways, basically the original text is about Joseph being married to Mary and then being like, oh, she's pregnant now
So he.
without
Oh,
me.
wow.
So it's like him and being like, wait, he just found out that his wife is conceiving,
Right.
and he's like, he's mad at her,
Right.
and
So
then
it's
he
like-
wanted to leave. Et voulut s'en aller.
Oh wow.
He wanted to
They
run away.
really were going into this story.
Yeah, they're going, and
It's
it's like
like-
a silly little tune.
It's like the first Simp song.
Yeah, but then the angel told him, "Don't be mad. You have a holy wife, and she is pregnant with the fruit of life. Elle a conçu sans péché, which means she conceived without sin." So this is what this song is about.
Okay, and yeah, you're right. The melody is not giving us this.
No, it's
hint
not
of
giving
the
us a
story.
hint. No.
Right, it's pretty simple, but it's so nice. This melody, I always sing that
Yeah.
after I was playing it.
I'm
I'll
always
be always
singing
singing that. Yes, and we did something interesting. So we used as a prelude, we used this dandrio,
Yes.
diminutions, let's say, for the keyboard, and then we just sang
As an
from the
introduction,
score.
and then we
Exactly.
sang that we do the Kyrie.
And we tried several combinations when Chris tried to sing the soprano part.
Yes.
But then we found out that doing the tenor part was the better
Tenor
solution.
and what
Bit
else?
of altus.
Bit of altus.
Yeah, just to keep the line.
Jumping around. Something about the devil. In verse 2,
Verse 2 does talk about the devil.
Lucifer does make an appearance.
So how is the song
She's there.
called again?
À la venue de Noël, which means like upon the arrival of Christmas. Noël traditionnel provençal, so a provincial like folk Christmas song. I love this tune also, and there's a great recording of it by François Lazarevich, who plays it with the musette.
He's great.
Yeah, basically it's just saying like when Christmas is happening, everyone be happy, and like let's like keep going with life. But when in his vanity, Lucifer in hell fell, he brought us all in hell with him, and then the Son of God bought us back.
So
by killing
indeed,
himself.
that's the
Well,
Paradise
not by
Lost
killing himself.
reunion.
Basically, this text is also a bit dark in a way. And Chris, what did we do a little
had
bit?
to
Can you tell?
transpose.
Yeah, you had to
Yeah.
transpose. What was the vibe? Tell us
So
the vibe.
you had this arrangement by Dandrieu with like variations in D, What was the
D.
D?
And you were in G.
And I was reading, yes, a little PDF on a phone in G, and we had to figure out exactly where to
Good luck for
repeat
us.
to make it match up. That's basically the vibe.
Kind of historical.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we didn't always have the
Some
same
F
parts back in the
sharp,
day.
F natural choices, 17th, 18th century
Musica
style.
ficta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely adapted to the taste of the 19th century.
We adapted to our own taste, I think. Mm-hmm.
You're so right, Chris. Great. Well, I'm
I
happy
was,
that you
thank
did
you
this.
so much for
Merry
having me on
Christmas.
here.
Happy
And
holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. I'm feeling very festive. I'm a very festive person.
Really? With Britain.
This time of year, yes.
And this music makes me feel very festive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though the texts are dark.
Even though the texts are kind of
Yeah,
weird.
but that's just the vibe. I mean,
That's
as soon
just-
as you're trilling like
Bruh.
every bar,
Yeah.
it's just Christmas time.
Also, I just want to say one last thing is that interestingly, I couldn't find any 17. Maybe someone has it. I couldn't find the 17th century source with the melody and the text. All I could find were instrumental versions.
Yeah, but also I thought maybe there is a collection from like this Air de Cour collections. I don't know. Among them, there is one containing these Christmas songs.
Ah,
but
really?
I couldn't
Oh.
really. Because in fact, they are sort of Air de Cour.
Right.
I could imagine them being sung and played at the court with instruments and singers
Right.
in this style.
I also think that it's one of these things where probably everyone knew the text
Probably,
because
yeah.
they were so famous, these
That's
songs.
why it was written for the instruments,
Yeah.
but singers maybe they could join
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
just sing along.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much for listening. And maybe we have a little Zugabe, a little
Maybe a Zugabe.
piece, instrumental.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
And a
See you.
very Merry Christmas to all.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Stay healthy, everyone. Hug your mom for me.